Have at me, bro. This is Omega99 Nemesis on Xbox Live in my Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin lore play. This is the 11th episode, as you see, and as you can see, I am opening up with Midas to do Malentia's dialogue. So let's listen.
Oh, come now, help an old woman and buy something. My name is Melentia. You're a stranger to this land. Oh, we get as strangers these days. Everybody's gonna run off. Dranglake's been a pile of rubble since the war, thought long, long ago. And the giants crossed the sea. Seemed like the battles would never end. Poor folk like myself have nary a place to sleep. That's why I keep all me things right with me. You may travel light, but methinks you bear a burden of your own. They say these trees grew from the remains of the giants. From each carcass sprouted new life grown into what you see now. But you know what they also say? Don't believe what an old hag says. It's high time that I pick up a move. I've a bargain for you next time we meet my lover. It's high time that I pick up a move. I've a bargain for you next time we meet my lover.
Alright, so according to Malentia, this was the center of a big and bloody war that seemed like it would never end. We'll find out later this war lasted for like a century's worth. For now, you're going to want to buy this key, which I did in my last episode as Lux. But you're also going to want to buy fire bombs as well at some point. But for the most part, Midas has served his purpose in the lore play. So for the moment, I'm apparently goofing around, killing this one guy to pick up a witching urn, or nope, just killing that guy apparently. I'm gonna go ahead and suffer through this scene to see what he does, as I rarely get to use him for this. Oh, apparently this is where I finished using Midas for this. Alright then let's give Midas a small applause, as he's actually been of use for this lore play. And thank you, Midas, that'll do. And so returns the great Lux Tenebris. Alright, so the first thing I do is activate a summon sign for a shade. Then I go to Malentia to buy some fire bombs, as I guessed correctly, and these are going to come in handy later. I'm then also going to run through her dialogue, because I've already done this with Midas. It's just I missed a piece when I was playing as Lux the first time, when I bought the key. So I'm actually going to head upstairs looking for something, thinking, well, maybe I can find that S flask as I meant to. That's when I end up summoning Elonas10, who helps me through a portion of this episode, which I did actually enjoy having the company. Oh god, it's been alone. It's the first time I've had guest stars! Anyway, so I killed the crystal lizard to collect two titanite shards, which I can use to upgrade my rapier further. I'm then going to find him here as he goes down the ladder. I try to catch his attention by climbing down the ladder and then going up it. He does scale back down, but then catches on and follows me, as he's going to help me do the pit down below, as I find an enemy type I hadn't expected, but honestly I kind of liked fighting. I'm also going to bow. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, when you summon someone to your world, bow to them. Basic courtesy. Give them a gesture of some sort. Nothing mocking or insulting unless they really deserve it. But here, I come back up here real quick to look for something, and Elonas follows me. Now, the point of co-op is, when you are summoned to another player's world, you're their bodyguard. It is your job to keep them alive. And if the both of you survive at the end of the session, you will be rewarded. Because of this, though, you have to understand, though, that yes, your survival is not as important as the World Master's, as if you get killed in the game, As a phantom or shade, you won't suffer any penalties, but the World Master will. So in my methodology for co-op, I'm the bodyguard, and if I'm summoning, then you're the bodyguard. So with that, it's just basic logic. Now then, Elonas is actually going to help me clear this bottom area out, which is a little different than I recall. I picked up a couple of items already, as I recall, but they're drops. Here I picked up some life gems, which I can make use of. I will be using later, actually. Here's the first time we're going to be coming across the old ironclad knights, and right there, he just does a number on me. And I pick up an old ironclad gauntlet off him. Now, old ironclad knights are strong. They will brutalize you, but they also do they are also very slow and easy to predict. Once you know how they work, you can predict their movements, and they're not hard at all once you understand this. They will still get a good hit in if you mess up. Now, Elona's going to be doing a lot of heavy lifting, as I have to take the occasional moment to record a clip, but he is clearly someone who's gone through the ropes here and knows where what is. See, where I was considering going in there, he led me over here to pick up the foot soldier shield worn by the infantry. This is an item that was actually originally the foot soldier, the hollowed soldier helmet's location, but they replaced it with that. He also knows that this salamander's here, and rather than just walking in, he runs to emphasize. Little things like that show he knows what to expect, and overall, Elona's a very good co-op partner, one that you should definitely consider. Now then, we're going to go hang a right here and go up the scaffolding and fallen tree, where I'll get a human effigy, really. Don't get me wrong, co-op partners do not receive the same benefits in that sense. They don't get the items as you pick them up. Instead, they get a reward of some sort. In his case, he'll be getting a smooth and silky stone to trade to Tina and Dilo. Also, this enemy sneaked up behind me and followed me up the tree, something they didn't do in the original, which is a good thing. I'm not saying they didn't try, though. They usually fell and died. Now, where I'm going to get the effigy and then backtrack down to the ladder. But rather than follow me that way, Elona further demonstrates greater skill by just taking the shortcut, which, if you failed it, ends up in you getting killed. So the fact that he can do this shows that he's also an experienced player, which, as I stated, would be a very a good benefit to have at hand when dealing with a lot of the harder stuff. However, this is also weighing into his time, as Elona's only going to be around for like 5 minutes at most as a shade. So when I get to the top of this ladder, you're going to see that Elona's aura is blacker than it was before. This means that his timer's about to expire and he's going to return home with his reward. In fact, he even urges me to follow him because he's aware of this. He can see he's graying out. And he sneaks behind the enemy soldier as he's distracted and gets a good backstab at. Meanwhile, I was actually going to pull him back to the bonfire where we could get some more kills in, but instead he decides he wants to kill these guys in. Understandable, as a shade, he can't stay for very long, so he's just going to rack up what souls he can. I don't have a problem with that. In fact, I get just as many as he does. More if I have the covetous silver serpent ring, which I'll be getting a version of it soon. Alright, so Elona's returned back to his world and did a good job, I'll add. Alright, so I'm sad to say a little bit was missed. I apparently overshot my time again. This is a common problem. I'll rectify it with some footage from Midas showing the early parts of this, but I'll probably even show it at the next episode. Effectively, I've summoned a fresh face again. Anaroth, I think, or Anare. I can't see it that well. I'll try to credit him, but he was very useful in the part coming here because we're going to fight our first boss. He is the hunter of the undead, the brutal, blood-hungry slayer of the cursed. He is the pursuer, but for comical effect, I'm calling him the Lost Elric brother. So, after dealing with this old ironclad knight, which this guy did pretty well actually, the thing didn't even get a hit in on me. Now, I'm going to proceed here. I'm going to show you why I purchased firebombs from Valencia. I threw the firebomb here, and you see those things blow up. It doesn't show, but it left a giant hole outside the bonfire that you can now rest at. And from here, I'm gauging my timing, apparently I did gauge my time wrong, but I figured, I'll go ahead. I noticed there are already some enemies lying down on the ground, faking death, and so I go ahead and kill this guy. There's also a guy over here who's going to get a few other enemies who are going to get involved, but for now, the pursuer is the problem. This enemy is by no means easy. He is a challenge for newcomers, and for skilled players starting out, it's still a challenge. The Lost Ulrich brother has a big sword and shield, as you might have noticed, and in case you've noticed his design, he has a bunch of weapons in a sheath like arrows. Yes, this thing collects your weapons like trophies, meaning that my rapier would be in that sheath if it kills me. This is also a mini-boss, technically. Pretty much, if you fail to kill him or if you run away in the middle of this fight, he will teleport away and back to his boss area. Kill him here and you bypass his boss fight altogether. Now, I don't know if there's a real incentive here, except that maybe his health won't scale if you bring help. Because one of the downsides to summons is that when you summon a phantom or shade, the boss's health will multiply by 0.5. Will gain a 50% bonus. So bring 2 players in to help you, then it's fighting at double health. Now you're going to notice this enemy has a lot of sweeping and sword strikes. Note that the majority of its attacks are very parryable if you try, but also it requires you to be kind of bold. Until I get myself a life protection ring, I'm not taking the chance. Like, the moves it's doing here, most of them are parryable already, except maybe that downward strike. That one I don't think he can parry. You also can parry the shield strikes. Also, he has another... Now, when he's doing his jabbing, when he's holding his shield up and running his sword, yeah, like that, that's when you can really parry him, especially when he tries to combo the parries. But when his sword is glowing blue like that, avoid it. Do not let that hit you. It will curse you and most likely do massive damage or kill you. Much like how he just did a good damage to me as well. This is where Aniccah actually steps in and gives me some support so that I can use a life gem to heal after a camera lag of some sort. I don't know what that was. So after that, I proceed onward in the fight after applying the healing. I'm slowly gaining my hit point back, I think. Did I heal? Or maybe I used the heal life gem later. Yeah, Aniccah, however, is taking massive damage, but he's also doing what he's supposed to. And at this point, that's when we start going all out. I believe, yeah, Aniccah gets the final hit in it. Yeah, see, he technically struck it faster. I got the soul of the pursuer as well as a ring of blades. And this is where this one guy nearly killed me, actually. I stopped paying attention a moment. And this is where Aniccah effectively leaves the fight for now. Alright, so I'm going to now pick up a couple items. I'm going to find the Estus Flask shard that was missing from before, a repair powder, and there's a couple other items, one of which I believe was a drop. Human FG life gems, torch, and over here I believe just a piece of armor from the Hollow Soldiers. Yep, Hollow Soldier leggings. Now from here I'm going to dodge an arrow from enemies there, and you're going to see a couple soldiers I missed while Aniccah is proceeding to the bonfire as well. He's going to also cut up a couple more enemies before he decides to disembark with a black... what's the word for that? With a black crystal. But all the while I do take him down, I actually stopped only long enough to get this clip recorded when he decided to leave. I'm not exactly sure if he left because he was tired of my occasional distractions or something, but also when I go to Melentia immediately to buy several things. For starters, this, as well as all the pieces of armor she has to offer, a couple pieces of bombs possibly, and finally... yeah, I buy these 4 pieces of armor, one of each, as well as a mace, or no, it was a club and a cestus, which allows me to get the covetous silver serpent ring +1, which will increase soul acquisitions. Now, while he's killing that, he's actually going to leave ahead of time, which... I'm not sure why he left, like I said, but he was very helpful. I would have had a lot more trouble fighting the pursuer. Aniccah, that was his name. Anyways, Aniccah chose to depart at this point, and he was incredibly helpful in doing so. I mean, honestly, continuing any further after killing the Pursuer, if I died after dropping the Pursuer, I would have lost a lot of souls if I died. And if I'd lost it permanently, that would have been very troublesome. Either way, Aniccah and Elona were both extremely useful in this video. Consider them the two co-stars of this episode. And this concludes episode 11. This is Omega-99 Nemesis with his first boss soul signing out. Have a good day, everyone.